watching Halton News right here on your TV. It's Thursday, April 30th. I'm your host, Sherry Ford, in for Jessica Kading. 8 more people are confirmed positive for COVID-19 since yesterday, but there is one less probable case. So our new total number of cases that Halton Region has reported since the onset of the virus is 515. 68% of those people have already fully recovered, while just over 4% have unfortunately passed away. In Ontario, there have been 459 new cases of COVID-19 reported, but Premier Rob Ford says the province is still on track to reopen the economy. There is no firm date yet for that, but Ford did put forth some 60 labor guidelines businesses will need to follow when that happens. Joining me now is MPP for Oakville, Stephen Crawford. Thanks for joining us today. And despite no firm date yet to reopen the province, at least there is some hope with the guidelines being set. What is your reaction to all these new rules?
Yes, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And I was really looking forward to the Premier speaking today and announcing these guidelines, as it does set the tone that there is light at the end of the tunnel. We want to get the economy opened up absolutely as quick as possible, but health and safety must come first. And I think we've made that very, very clear. So the government has basically put a bunch of guidelines in place that businesses will have to operate under. A lot of them are common sense, having hand sanitizers in your business, limiting the number of people in your business at a specific time, having plexiglass perhaps between a customer and a person working at an establishment. So these are a few of the guidelines, but let business be able to be prepared and ready to go the minute that we say we can open up. And I should also add with that the government's also hired 58 inspectors through the Ministry of Labor to ensure these guidelines are being met, because at the end of the day, we can have guidelines, but if they're not being met, they're not going to do anything.
And of course, there will be fines with that. Now, the government has put almost $1 billion into businesses so far since the outbreak. Clearly, the economy has to open soon. And this does give some hope to the people, to business owners out there. What do you want to tell your constituents about hanging in there until the curve has flattened?
Well, the good news is the curve is beginning to flatten. So I'm optimistic that we will be able to open in a sort of determined manner very, very soon. I understand. I've been in business myself. The Premier's been in business. Many members of our government and cabinet have been. So we understand how critical it is to get open as quickly as possible, but we also don't want to be in a position where we have to shut everything down in a month. So I'm going to tell the people of Ontario and the business owners to hang in there. I think you'll see news coming in the days and weeks ahead that'll be in a positive way.
Now, Premier Ford, of course, his mother-in-law is in a long-term care facility, and he was asked today about the City of Ottawa prohibiting window visits to these facilities. He called the move ridiculous and just wrong and told the people to go to the window. What would you advise your constituents to do?
Yeah, I would echo what the Premier said, and there's no reason that people can't visit their loved ones if they're in a long-term care or a facility here in Oakville. And as long as you're keeping your social distance, there's a window between you, there's nothing wrong with that. This is a really critical time where we need to stay connected as people and families. So I echo what the Premier's sentiment was today. He meant that from the heart. His mother-in-law is currently has COVID in a long-term care home. So he certainly understands what some of the people are going through.
Well, MPP Stephen Crawford, thanks for your time and stay well out there.
Thank you, and stay safe as well. Thank you very much.
Yesterday, the House of Commons unveiled $9 billion in financial aid for students who have been facing financial difficulties due to COVID-19. We connected with Burlington MP Karina Gould via Skype earlier today to get her reaction to the plan.
Well, thank you very much. So we recognize that there are a number of students who were either graduating this year or planning to return to school in the fall and who were planning on working this summer and whose jobs are no longer available due to COVID-19. And so in recognition of this, we have created the Canada Emergency Student Benefit, which was passed through the House of Commons yesterday. And this benefit will provide $1,250 to students for the months of May, June, July, and August to help them get through this period, recognizing that a lot of students work over the summer so that they can help pay for tuition, pay for their cost of living, and pay for books. And it will provide up to $1,850 for students with dependents. And recognizing that, a lot of students, because they were studying over the course of the past 12 months, were not able to meet the $5,000 threshold of earned income for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. So the Government of Canada has put forward this new CESB. It will be available in the coming weeks for students, and really, trying to make sure that we are supporting Canadians, no matter what, and really trying to make sure that if you're an individual or your business, the Government of Canada has your back, and we're all in this together to get through this difficult period.
Earlier this week, it was announced that the 4 mayors of Halton have come together to form the Halton Mayors Recovery Coordination Group. We reached out to Milton Mayor Gord Krantz to give us some more details.
The recovery group started with the 4 mayors in Halton, Mayor Marianne Mead Ward of City of Burlington, Mayor Rob Burton of Oakville, and Rick Bennett of Halton Hills, and myself. Mayor Mead Ward took the initiative, I guess probably 10 days or so ago, to coordinate the 4 of us on saying, well, recovery is not going to happen overnight, but we should have a plan in place, and every one of us certainly agreed to that. Now, what we've also done is petition the region as well to be, probably not only cooperating with the 4 municipalities, but maybe taking a bit of a lead role in the recovery, as it, not only pertains to each one of the individual municipalities, but a coordinated effort in that regard for Halton. And I'm a firm believer in that roadmap. And of course, I think Premier Ford suggests it's a roadmap, not a calendar. But sooner or later, we're going to have some dates, I know, but I think that's a little ways away. When I say a little ways away, I know it's not tomorrow, probably next week, but in the next few weeks and few months, that calendar, I suspect, will have to come into play. Now, I'm pretty familiar with roadmaps, but I also know I have followed roadmaps all my life. But I know on the odd occasion, you follow that roadmap, and there's also a detour in it. So you have to be prepared to go around that detour. And sometimes that detour takes a little longer to get where you want to go, but it's certainly the safest and best way to get there. So philosophically, that's how I'm approaching this roadmap. There just might be a little detour in there once the roadmap is put into place.
Meanwhile, Mayor Krantz says he is also working with senior staff to create a task force recovery group specifically for Milton.
Especially having some of the business, a good cross section of the businesses in Milton, participating in a debate or suggestions as to how we in Milton go about it, and as well, of course, who would be really part of that with the Chamber of Commerce. So that is probably what's going to happen in the very near future, is getting a group of us, and I have no numbers in mind, whether it be 7 or 9 or 10 or 12 individuals, but a good cross section of what they recommend for us going ahead in the future on this recovery. The town of Oakville's bylaw enforcement department responded to fewer violations of coronavirus regulations last weekend. Bylaw officers were involved in 243 incidents, which included people playing sports and gathering in closed parks, residents being on closed running tracks, and residents not physically distancing. In all cases, residents dispersed when warned, and no tickets were given out for violating provincial orders. No fines were issued under the town's new personal protective equipment bylaw, which targets residents who throw masks and gloves on the ground after using them. However, 4 $300 tickets were handed out to residents who failed to keep their dogs on a leash. Earlier this month, Oakville Mayor Rob Burton amended the new physical distancing bylaw to include keeping dogs on a leash no more than 2 meters in length at all times.
An apartment fire broke out in a high-rise on Upper Middle Road in Burlington around 11:30 a.m. this morning. It took 3 hours for the fire department to put out the blaze, which started in the living room of an apartment. One person was in that specific unit at the time, and they are said to be okay. The damage is expected to be over $300,000, and the suspected cause was electrical failure. Halton police are looking for 2 suspects following the failed robbery of a Burlington restaurant on Sunday, April 26th. At 9:20 p.m., 2 masked men entered the Pizza Hut located on Appleby Line near Harrison Crescent. Police said one man was carrying a box cutter, but the suspects apparently lost their nerve and left without saying or taking anything. The region of Halton is taking extra precautions to protect their workers. Curbside, blue box, green carts, and yard waste will continue on a normal schedule, but bulk waste collection is suspended until further notice. If you need metal or appliance picked up, you can still have that arranged, but you must make an appointment in order to do so by calling 311. Please note that all spring waste events have been canceled until the end of June, including Spring Sunday openings, special waste drop-off days, and the spring compost giveaway. The Halton Waste Management site continues to operate Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Physical distancing measures are in effect, and you should expect longer than normal wait times. It is also important to note that staff cannot help you carry items during this time. Additionally, the reuse depot remains closed, and you are asked not to leave any donations at any community donation bin, as many have stopped picking up the collection for the time being. The Oakville Museum is working on creating a collection that will document the lives of Oakville residents living through the COVID-19 pandemic. They invite you to share the impact of the outbreak in your community, including photos, stories, videos, or other creative documentation. You can submit your entries to oakvillemuseum@oakville.ca. The Oakville Museum is also working to reach out to isolated seniors. You are invited to send a kind letter or artwork to public.art@oakville.ca, and they'll make sure your message in a bottle helps to brighten someone's day. Submissions will be accepted until May 4th. As a result of COVID-19, the town of Milton is modifying the annual community spring maintenance program to align with the province's emergency orders. Staffing has been reduced as seasonal staff and student positions have been deferred through this pandemic. However, when the warm weather arrives, the town will be providing required maintenance services in the community, including the street sweeping program, grass cutting with limited trimming, park and roadside litter and debris cleanup, emptying of parks' garbage cans, road maintenance, and emergency forestry work. Our Milton MP is doing what he can to help local frontline workers. We caught up with Adam Van Couverden via Zoom in the middle of a delivery for a chat about what he's doing and how residents are feeling.
I'm making some deliveries today. I'm working with conquercovid19.ca on ensuring that people on the front lines, even really small organizations, smaller, I did a drop off today for Halton Women's Place, some masks, making sure that the frontline workers involved in home care have what they need. We just got to make sure that our neighbors are well protected. So today I've been dropping off mostly gloves and masks, a couple respirator masks and 5 or 6 full face shields. So want to give a shout out to everybody in Milton who's doing 3D printing at home. Really, really amazing. I think it's Ryan Dorland is 3D printing PPE at home. Just incredible, innovative response to a tragedy that's affecting everybody. Haley Wickenheiser, Canadian captain of the women's hockey team forever. She started Conquer COVID-19, and she's raised millions of dollars and gotten millions and millions of pieces of PPE out to frontline workers in Canada. And it's just an incredible initiative. Ryan Reynolds got into it. You can buy this T-shirt. Ryan Reynolds is promoting it on his social media. So raising a lot of money for people who really need it most. The government's doing a great job, both provincial, federal, and of course the regional and municipal governments as well. But every bit helps times like this. I took my mask and my gloves off for the interview, but when I'm delivering these items, I'm protecting myself and protecting others by wearing the proper equipment, just a simple mask and latex gloves. I haven't been interacting with locals on any level except for over email and social media and phone. There's a lot of anxiety out there, but people in Halton and specifically in Milton, people are coming together virtually and they're finding ways to contribute. They're keeping each other informed with good information, and they're also reaching out to make sure that everybody's feeling okay, because there's a huge mental health component to COVID-19. We're going on 50 days now of isolation for a lot of people, or staying home from work and school. So I just want to thank everybody in Milton and Halton, and truly everybody across Canada who's doing their part, staying home and keeping everybody protected. For the frontline workers and essential workers who are going to work and helping those who really need it most, you are modern heroes. And I just want to thank everybody, and I'm just doing my bit by trying to get some last minute supplies out to some people who really need it.
Thanks for being with us here on Halton News. We need to take a short break, but we'll be right back with a story of dashed dreams from a local Olympian hopeful. Welcome back to Halton News. A former Milton Marlins swimmer is bummed to have missed Olympic trials this year. Melissa Candelaria has that story.
With COVID-19 responsible for postponing the Tokyo Olympics, many athletes have had to push back their dreams of making the cut. But for Madison McCord, she was just hoping to compete in the Olympic trials for the first time. McCord is a Milton Marlins alumnus who gained a swim scholarship to the University of Calgary last year. With no expectations of making this Olympics, McCord says she was really looking forward to at least getting to the final at the Olympic trials, which was scheduled for March 30th to April 5th.
Even if I wasn't expecting the Olympics, I still was so excited to get the chance to see other swimmers race and get that experience just racing and competing for that time standard and to make that meet, because it's a great experience. And even if I wasn't close to this meet, if I were to strive for it for the next Olympics in 4 years, then that would have been an amazing experience that I would have had already.
Now, like most athletes, McCord has had to modify her training to keep up with her fitness. She says she continues to connect with her university teammates for those workouts.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings, we have our own aerobic piece. So we either go running, we do biking, whatever we can just to get our blood flowing. And on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday afternoons, we do a group Zoom meeting, and we all do the exact same workout together that our personal trainer has put together for us. And we just use whatever we have around the house. So for me, I have dumbbells and I have a treadmill and an e-bike in my basement. So I have most stuff that I can use. But for people on my team that don't have dumbbells, they use jugs of laundry detergent or something like that. So we're doing our best to try and stay fit.
Even though the Olympics will happen in July 2021, McCord says the longer social gathering restrictions continue, the harder training is going to get.
I do think this will push back training a lot. It's going to be very hard to get into the pool after such a long time off, because I know most swimmers and most athletes take maybe a week and a half off during the summer, and then we're swimming here and there every now and then. But to have such a long time off, it's definitely hard, and it's going to affect all of our swimming a lot. It's going to be hard to get back into it, and I don't think we're going to be on track to where we should be, but we're doing the best that we can in the circumstances.
McCord does say she can't wait for the pools to open again, where she will dive right back into the sport she loves most. Reporting for Halton News, I'm Melissa Candelaria.
Turning to weather now and a look at the 5-day forecast. Today's rain is sticking around for most of Friday as well, but it will clear overnight, leaning finally to some welcome sunshine on Saturday, a high of 17 degrees. A 40% chance of rain Saturday evening, but dry on Sunday, cloudy and a high of 17. Monday, another decent day, a mix of sun and cloud, a high of 16, with some cooler temps expected after that, a high of only 13 on Tuesday. To business now, and those of you with a green thumb who are eager to start planting, were surely pleased when the provincial government deemed community gardens essential. Halton Region Public Health is currently working on setting up protocols on how to safely open and operate the gardens, including instructions around screening, physical distancing, operating hours, and cleaning and disinfecting commonly used equipment and surfaces. Community gardens normally open by May 7th, but there is no guarantee of that date this year. Now let's take a look at today's closing markets. Please stay with us. We will be right back after a short break with an update from the Burlington Food Bank. You're watching Halton News across the region. I'm Sherry Ford in for Jessica Kading. The Burlington Food Bank has been providing us with daily updates, and today the focus is on safety for both volunteers and for clients as well. All volunteers use protective masks while practicing social distancing, and thanks to donations, the food bank is also supplying masks in their hampers to people in need.
All of our volunteers, when they're here in the building, we try to practice physical distancing, but knowing that we're in a tight space, we ask that they all wear a mask just so that they can stay safe. We've also had a great number of people who've been donating to us. And the Burlington Gazette mask makers, as well as the Aldershot group that collects at St. Matthew's, have especially been making them for us. So we really appreciate that. And they continue to provide them to us so that we can provide masks out to our clients as well. So if you're getting your hamper, you're also getting masks typically along with it, just to make sure that you're able to stay safe if you are going to venture outside. We know that you need your fresh air and you need your just getting a little bit of exercise is healthy for you. Also, we recognize that tomorrow is May 1st, and it's going to be a tough day on a number of people in that rents are due and all kinds of things that maybe you didn't think were going to catch up to you are starting to. And so we want to remind you that we have had such great support from the community of Burlington that we're able to help you. So please, again, just email us at info@burlingtonfoodbank.ca or give us a call, 905-637-2273. Leave us a message on there. We typically aren't able to get to our phones. We're pretty busy, but we will return your call. So thanks again so much to the community of Burlington for your tremendous support for all that we're doing here.
And that's it for Halton News. For more information or to catch more stories, head to our website at yourtv.tv or email us at haltonnews@cogeco.com. Thanks for watching Halton and have a great night.